With a new show announced for AEW and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. As expected, AEW Collision was announced as a new show on Saturday for TNT at the Warner Bros. Discovery Upfront presentation, with it said that TNT launches a second night of professional wrestling with a new tentpole series, AEW Collision, on Saturday, June 17th. It was announced today by Kathleen Finch, Chairman and Chief Content Officer, US Networks Group, Warner Bros. Discovery, during the company's 2023 Upfront presentation at Madison Square Garden in New York City. This live 2-hour in-ring show will air every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern and feature more wrestlers, more stories, and more action to super serve fans. AEW Collision will feature headliners including Miro, Samoa Joe, Thunder Rosa, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Andrade El Idolo. In only 4 years following the launch of AEW Dynamite, AEW's footprint has more than doubled across TNT and TBS. Along with AEW Dynamite, Friday night's AEW Rampage, the recent Follow Doc AEW Access, and now AEW Collision. TNT and TBS deliver the best matches and most entertaining moments in professional wrestling today. AEW has reached 23 million total viewers so far this year across all of its shows on TBS and TNT. We're doubling down on wrestling with AEW Collision, which gives fans 2 more hours every week, said Jason Solarnis, President, Turner Networks, ID and HLN, Linear and Streaming. AEW's roster of talent has expanded so quickly that we felt it needed another night to bring our audience the epic rivalries, unforgettable matches, and stars they love to watch. Adding Collision to our programming mix on TNT will allow us to satisfy the massive demand we've felt from our hardcore fan base and be the ultimate complement to AEW Dynamite on TBS. With the addition of AEW Collision on TNT, I'm extremely proud that a Turner Network will be the home of Saturday Night Wrestling for the first time in more than 2 decades, said Tony Khan, CEO, GM, and head of creative of AEW. The debut of Collision is significant across numerous sectors, including television, wrestling, entertainment, and sports, and reinforces AEW as the bold property we envisioned when we launched in 2019. Collision will deliver live every Saturday night more of what fans and viewers tell us they want: athleticism, big personalities, exciting storylines, and hard-hitting wrestling action, all of which have become synonymous with AEW. Adding to the news of AEW Collision, this was said by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful about splitting stars between Dynamite and the new Saturday show. As of last week, it was believed that there would be a soft roster split for AEW Dynamite and Collision. This would allow talent that didn't get along to work shows when necessary without the likelihood of conflict that we saw a lot of backstage in AEW in 2022. However, instead, we're told that talent are expecting a hard brand split, with the exception of many AEW champions. We've been told that there will be additional exceptions here and there. We have not learned how exactly the split will be determined, if there will be a draft, or how that will work out. However, the working plan as of this week is a firm brand split with some rare exceptions. Those we've spoken to said that bringing back several previously absent talent was planned out, and they were told it was strategic timing to go along with the new show. In addition to talent that naturally needs more television time, several returning talent look to benefit from this move. The working plan is to film AEW Rampage with Dynamite tapings and ROH with Collision tapings. Those that we've spoken to say that there looks like some WCW Nitro influence and early graphics tied to Collision. Going back to the topic of the upfronts where this new show was announced, Variety reported that a source close to the situation says this choice was made by Warner Bros. Discovery out of respect for both the talent and the writers on strike. However, talent will be represented in other ways throughout the show, and the event will cover all parts of the WBD business operations. The original pre-strike plan had been for a robust lineup including big WBD stars like Magnolia Network's Chip and Joanna Gaines, but has been trimmed down since the strike went into effect May 2nd. 2nd. The work stoppage happened when the WGA and Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers failed to ink a new contract. Reviewing Tony Khan's announcement from last week's Dynamite, Jim Cornette said this about CM Punk's potential involvement if Punk is indeed instrumental in this deal and getting the second show from Warner Bros. Discovery, and they announced the new show, and they've got that building in Chicago booked, and they call it The Second Coming, and everybody buys those tickets. If any of the EVPs or their friends or their stooges or their family members were to fart in Punk's general direction and piss him off at that point, can you imagine what Tony Khan would have if he ended up with a sold-out United Center debut of a live television program again that came to see one thing and Punk just wasn't there? When Tony Khan rolls the dice on all of this and makes all of these announcements and he's made these deals with the network and whatever, he'd better make sure that those little cretinous little crumb snatchers that leech off of him don't do the same thing they've been doing repeatedly over and over, because that could lead to his Waterloo. With a previous rumor suggesting that WWE was uncertain about having Seth Rollins win the new World Heavyweight title due to his potential filming schedule, Steve Carrier of Ringside News noted that Seth Rollins landed a role in the new Captain America project, and that got a lot of fans talking. A rumor starting that WWE is a bit hesitant about putting Rollins in a big spot if the acting roles continue. We were told that is not true at all. There is no hesitation at all in putting Seth Rollins into any role being discussed for him. WWE is thrilled about Seth Rollins' role in the new Captain America project. Also, anyone who reports that there is any hesitation over Seth because of this role is reporting and promoting fake news. Staying on the topic of the new World Heavyweight title, as AJ Styles and Seth Rollins will face off for the belt at Night of Champions, Boozer666 added, to clear all the commotion, no decision on who's winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth is the #1 guy, but the story is what matters. I said it a while back, plans to fill the void that Reigns will leave soon with other huge names, so expect a surprising Night of Champions. It will be great, trust me. With Jerry the King Lawler suffering a stroke in February, Jim Ross gave an update on his friend, saying on his podcast, "I talked to Lawler just the other day. He's still struggling with his health. He's got good doctors and they think they have identified many of the issues, but he's not out of the woods yet in terms of achieving a good level of health." As always, when we talk, his voice starts off a little bit weak and then it gets stronger as he talks, and we laugh and we tell stories with each other. It seems that the Tribal Chief and undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns is set to take an extended leave of absence from WWE, with Ringside News writing, "BWE went on a bit of a spree behind their private Twitter accounts." One fan tweeted out to say, if Reigns is indeed planning a sabbatical, does he take the titles with him indefinitely? In reply to this question, the proven WWE insider tweeted back, "Yes, that seems to give the indication that SmackDown will be without a top champion soon enough. Only time will tell how long that break will last." When asked whether Roman Reigns will leave WWE this year, another fan received a reply saying no, but less schedule with time. It appears that Roman Reigns will get even more time off in 2023. With it said by Cowboy Bob Orton that his son Randy Orton had been told by doctors to not wrestle again following a back fusion surgery, Booker T reacted to this on his Hall of Fame podcast. Randy's been off ever since dropping the Tag Team Championships, RK Bro dropping the Tag Team Championships. I didn't know what Randy was dealing with, but Randy has always been a guy that's been very durable. He hadn't been a guy that has been injury prone or anything like that. He's always dealt with little ailments like his shoulder. He always had a bad shoulder. He always had this little flex flex thing he would use. I would see him with that thing every day, you know, working with it, working his shoulder, back issues, you know, some minor stuff. One thing about the business, and we talk about it all the time, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be hurt all the time. It's just a hurt business. Being injured is something that's totally different. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury now because from what I was reading, the doctors are advising Randy Orton to not come back to in-ring competition. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, I know what Randy Orton is going through. A doctor advised me, same thing, not to return back to the ring because of neck issues from a full-time perspective. That's why I totally took an exit from the ring when I did, because of the curvature my neck could get to the point to where it could start messing with the nerves, tingling in the hands, numbness, and then it could lead to paralysis and whatnot. The doctor told me you can stop and we don't have to have surgery, or you could keep going if we do the surgery. So I chose, you know, hey, let me take a step back. So I do know what Randy may perhaps be going through at this point in time. It's not easy. It's not easy to hear a doctor tell you that you got to stop doing something that you love doing. You're gonna say, man, let me go get a second opinion. I gotta get another. It's one of those types of deals. I'll tell you if this is the case, man. My heart goes out to Randy. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we'll see Randy back inside the squared circle again. But when doctors start talking like that, sometimes you just got to listen. I understand exactly what that doctor is talking about, because after the Rumble, I had like a little tingling in my finger. So it just reminded me that problem hadn't gone away or anything. And if I was out there doing this on a regular basis, I could really be putting my life in a bad situation. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.